In a world where social media often blurs the line between personal emotion and public performance, few moments hit as hard as Pilar Sanders' recent message to her ex-husband, NFL Hall of Famer and current Colorado Buffaloes head coach Deion "Primetime" Sanders. What began as a quiet Tuesday evening on Instagram quickly turned into a viral storm across the sports and entertainment landscape. Pilar, the former model, actress, and reality show personality, who once shared a glamorous marriage with Deion, posted a video and a written statement that many described as raw, honest, and unfiltered. Within minutes, hashtags like #PilarSpeaks, #Deion and Pilar, and #PrimetimeTruth started trending across X, formerly Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. The message was short but piercing. Pilar spoke about forgiveness, pain, and accountability without naming Deion directly. Yet everyone knew whom she meant. "Sometimes strength is not in how loud you roar," she said, "but in how calmly you tell your truth, even when the world is watching the wrong story." The post immediately sent shockwaves through the sports world. Fans who had followed the Sanders family saga for over a decade, from their high-profile marriage to their highly publicized divorce, were stunned by the vulnerability of Pilar's words. Some interpreted it as a sign of closure. Others saw it as a pointed emotional reminder to Deion, who has built his current reputation on confidence, faith, and family leadership. Within hours, major sports outlets picked up the story. TMZ Sports ran the headline "Pilar Sanders breaks her silence. Emotional message appears directed at Deion." ESPN commentators briefly mentioned it during a college football segment, with one analyst remarking, "For a man whose life is constantly in the public eye, this is the side of Deion Sanders that fans rarely see, the personal impact of fame." What followed was a storm of public discussion, dissecting every line of Pilar's message. Was she addressing Deion directly? Was she referencing unresolved pain? Or was this simply a personal reflection that went viral because of her famous last name? Pilar's message resonated deeply, particularly among women who saw it as a declaration of emotional independence. Her Instagram comments filled up with thousands of responses, from supporters offering words of encouragement to critics debating her motives. One fan wrote, "She didn't drag him. She just reminded everyone she's human too." Another commented, "It takes courage to speak with grace after being silent for so long." Sports blogs began analyzing the emotional subtext. The Athletic Tribune ran an op-ed calling Pilar's post a subtle but powerful reclaiming of her narrative. Meanwhile, a viral TikTok compilation juxtaposed clips of Pilar's message with footage of Deion giving motivational speeches to his college football team. The contrast between Deion's public persona, the composed, confident leader, and Pilar's emotional transparency fascinated audiences. Behind the viral buzz, though, was something deeper, a reflection of how intertwined personal history and public identity have become in the age of celebrity. Pilar and Deion's story isn't just about one message. It's about how love, loss, and legacy collide in the digital era, and how the world refuses to look away. Before the viral message, Pilar and Deion Sanders were the epitome of celebrity glamour. Married in 1999, they built a public image around success, faith, and family. Deion, already a two-sport legend, was transitioning from his playing career into broadcasting and coaching. Pilar, meanwhile, built her own brand through modeling, television appearances, and entrepreneurship. Together, they appeared unstoppable, a couple that represented the perfect fusion of athletic excellence and elegance. But as years passed, cracks began to appear. Their separation and eventual divorce in 2013 became a headline-dominated ordeal filled with court battles, accusations, and media speculation. For a time, both seemed to retreat from the public conflict. Deion focused on coaching and rebuilding his post-NFL career, eventually leading him to his high-profile role at the University of Colorado. Pilar focused on her children, wellness ventures, and advocacy work, maintaining a lower profile. That's why her sudden message in 2025 caught everyone by surprise. It wasn't an attack. It was introspective, emotional, and layered with meaning. And for many fans, it reignited old questions about what really happened between them and what remains unspoken. When Pilar Sanders' message first hit Instagram, it took less than 20 minutes for the post to ripple across every major sports and entertainment outlet in America. Reporters began reaching out to sources close to both Pilar and Deion, hoping to decode the layers behind her words. Within an hour, screenshots of the post appeared on Twitter, accompanied by headlines that ranged from sympathetic to speculative. TMZ Sports was first to frame the story, calling it an unguarded glimpse into the emotions behind one of sports' most talked about breakups. The outlet emphasized that Pilar's post contained no direct accusations, only reflections on forgiveness and truth, but the public's familiarity with her relationship history with Deion made it impossible to separate the message from the man. ESPN's Daily Debrief devoted a short segment to the subject. The host, in a measured tone, noted that Pilar's timing, just days after Colorado's narrow victory over Arizona State, raised questions about whether the post might affect Deion's focus as head coach. Coach Prime has built his entire brand on mental toughness and composure, the analyst said. But this situation is personal, not professional. Even the strongest people can be rattled when private history becomes public again. Sports Illustrated took a more reflective approach, publishing an op-ed titled, "The Human Behind the Helmet: Why Pilar Sanders' Words Matter." The article argued that her message was not a provocation but an important reminder that sports icons live within complex emotional realities. Deion Sanders has mastered the art of control, controlling narratives, locker rooms, and outcomes, the writer observed. But control often comes at the cost of vulnerability. Pilar's words reintroduced vulnerability into the conversation. By midnight, social media was ablaze. Twitter threads dissected every phrase of Pilar's post. Reddit discussions revisited the Sanders marriage timeline, and TikTok creators used her audio for emotional storytelling montages. On X, formerly Twitter, former athletes, media personalities, and influencers weighed in. Former WNBA star Cappie Pondexter tweeted, "Pilar's grace and pain is something every woman can relate to. She didn't shade. She healed out loud." A sports podcaster countered, "Public healing always comes with public consequences. Once you hit post, the story no longer belongs to you." Instagram quickly filled with commentary reels. Relationship coaches broke down the psychology of silent strength, while motivational pages shared Pilar's quote about telling one's truth, even when the world is watching the wrong story. Within 24 hours, her post had surpassed 1.3 million views and more than 250,000 combined shares. The reaction wasn't unanimously supportive. While many praised Pilar for her composure, others accused her of reigniting an old narrative for relevance. Some fans of Deion, fiercely loyal to Coach Prime, saw the post as a distraction or a calculated attempt to ride the coach's ongoing media wave. One viral comment read, "Why bring this up now, when Deion's got enough pressure at Colorado?" A sentiment that gained traction among college football circles. But an equally strong opposing voice argued that timing didn't negate authenticity. "Pain doesn't check the football schedule," another user replied. The polarized reactions mirrored how the public tends to treat women's voices in celebrity relationships, especially when the man in question is a revered sports figure. Pilar's critics demanded explanations, while her supporters insisted she owed no one further detail. For Deion Sanders himself, silence became the statement. Neither the coach nor his representatives released an official comment in the immediate aftermath. However, a source close to the Colorado program told the Denver Post that Deion was aware of the message but remains focused on football. During his next media availability, reporters noticed subtle changes in tone. When asked about distractions, Deion smiled tightly and said, "God gives you peace when you keep your eyes on purpose." Though he didn't mention Pilar by name, his quote was interpreted by many as a soft acknowledgement of the situation. That clip, too, went viral. Fans admired how calmly he handled the question, while analysts noted the maturity of his restraint. For years, Deion's motto, "Don't let the outside noise get inside you," has guided both his teams and his brand. This episode tested that motto in real time. Behind the scenes, editors and producers faced their own dilemma. How much attention should be given to a deeply personal moment that, technically, didn't involve a public accusation or controversy? Networks like Fox Sports 1 and ESPN2 debated coverage tone in morning meetings. One executive producer reportedly told her team, "We're not here to sensationalize someone's healing, but we can't ignore the cultural conversation either." Journalistic ethics demanded caution. While the post was public, the emotional weight of its content made overt speculation risky. Outlets like The Undefeated and People Sports chose to focus on broader themes of forgiveness and public vulnerability, rather than re-examining the couple's divorce details.